All right. Well, thanks for coming on Behind the Agency. For everyone who's tuning in, I have Mike Stone. He's the co-founder and CEO of the Gnar, which is a Boston-based software development agency. Um, Mike, thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, I always like to start these interviews with getting kind of the backstory. Like, how did the Gnar come to be? What's your origin story?
Absolutely. Great place to start at the beginning. So my co-founder, Nick Maloney, and I worked together at a Boston-based health and wellness startup. This was probably 15-ish years ago now, and it was there that we were building a suite of products in the health and wellness space to help people create better daily habits, to walk more, exercise more, that sort of thing. And we really saw the value that a talented team with a great culture of collaboration, support, encouragement could bring to product development. This wasn't too dissimilar from like my previous career, which is in professional sports and just seeing what makes great teams. Um, but in any case, we started working at that time nights and weekends on contract work within our network, trying to bring the same things that were making the products great in our day jobs to other companies and help out as a nights and weekends business at first. The company that we were working for ended up pivoting and round of layoffs happened, which ended up being a huge opportunity for us. So we were very well positioned to just go full time into the NAR and bring in a lot of the great folks that had been impacted from that company pivot to continue working together and building great products.
That's awesome. Kind of taking, what is it? When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Kind of live that
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I know. And like looking back on it, it looks like a straight line, but it was anything but in the beginning, you know. So it was a bit tumultuous, but we were prepared and were able to make the most of it.
That's awesome. Well, I guess the next thing I want to kind of dig in on is, um, you know, you start this agency, bring on this team. Um, what have you figured out over the years that you've been in business is kind of your sweet spot, like the thing that you do really well that makes you stand out and differentiates you from other folks that are doing similar things.
When we started, we were basically exclusively engineering. So we didn't do a lot of full product type roles. It was mostly um, kind of like staff augie engineering work. And what we really found out over time is that we can really excel and specialize in like the 0 to 1 phase. We've seen that this is leaning on a lot of that prior experience as well, but that the foundation of an application really matters. And so our sweet spot is helping small to medium sized businesses with new tech initiatives. We had one client jokingly refer to us as a innovation SWAT team, which we've kind of adopted. But it puts us in a position of essentially deploying like a product team to bring an idea, uh, piece of the roadmap uh, to life. So we do this through a few different packages that we've put together over the years, and
Hmm.
obviously doing a lot more than just the engineering now. Um, in terms of differentiation, um, it's it's kind of funny, but we there's not differentiation is really hard in what we do because what we do um, is both simple and difficult at the same time, where it's basic best practices, right? It's robust automated test suites, code reviews, CI/CD, a smooth agile process with lots of checkpoints. And the analogy I always use is like, I know that if I went to the gym every day and if I simply did that and simply ate better, that I would be a healthier person. Like there's no debating that, but I don't, right? And that's kind of similar in this space where there's a lot of saying that, you know, yeah, of course it's best to use best practices, but a lot of organizations still don't, or they make sacrifices.
Yeah.
And so we've really leaned in on a few different packaged offerings that we can provide and some opportunities for differentiation that can come from just doing really great work. And so one of the things we do is we provide a bug-free warranty on our software. I don't know of any other organizations that's doing that, but we really stand by the quality of work that we do. And so for the first year after we deploy work, if there's any regressions or issues in the code that we wrote, we just jump in and fix that for free. So we also believe we have a really strong rapid onboarding process. We actually did a
Mhm.
study with a number of product leaders saying that it takes 3 to 6 months to onboard a um, new team member, and that has a lot of repercussions. So we really pride ourselves on getting in and shipping production code in the first week. We want to reduce that time as much as possible to help with these new initiatives. Um, we have 100% US based experienced talent across the board. We dedicate engineers full time to projects so that they're not context shifting. We have founder oversight over every project. And we've built this, what we call project success role, that is a bit of a differentiator as well, which is just somebody that's responsible for making sure we're, prioritizing the right things on time and budget, the client's happy, and everything's going according to plan. In some ways, a little bit like a product manager, but it has some different responsibilities baked in there too. It's a little lighter weight. So like I said, differentiation has been hard because at the end of the day, we're a custom software shop that uses best practices and builds great product. But you kind of need to come to market with a little bit more than that to win work.
Yeah. I know you, I think in our previous conversation, you had talked about how you had kind of broken things up into some core offering sort of programs, that I thought that was pretty clever. But you want to kind of want to explain that to folks who are listening in, just kind of how you've settled on that and what they are.
Absolutely. So we have three core packages that we uh, typically sell to clients, and that's Ignite, Ideate, and Embed. And so Ideate is a package that's largely centered around uh, discovery. So come to us with a vision, and we bring that to life through a clickable prototype. So we'll do discovery, wireframing, visual design, exploration, and put it all together in a nice clickable prototype that brings that vision kind of to life, allows the client to click through and experience the user flows. Clients will often use that to bring to investors and folks like that to be able to pursue the initiative further. Ignite is then taking that clickable prototype and getting it into market. So typically we'll sell the Ideate and Ignite packages together in what we'll call like the get to market package. So that's,
Hmm.
4 to 6 months from concept to in production with a great foundation that you can build a team around or bring internal or hire a team around, and we help facilitate that onboarding. We do some maintenance as well if clients want us to do that, but again, we really specialize in that 0 to 1, get that robust product in market as fast as possible, and know that we're a temporary solution. And then
Yeah.
the last package there is called Embed, and that's bringing our talent onto your team and embedding within your team for a period of time to help, you know, pour more gas on the fire and execute against the roadmap faster.
Yeah. No, I like how you've structured that. I think that's really smart. I mean, one of the things that I like to recommend to clients is having some sort of, either like a paid for discovery thing. People can call it whatever they want, but it's essentially give them sort of an appetizer opportunity or offer to work with you, where they can kind of test the water, see what it's like to work with you, and um, maybe kind of develop the plan in collaboration with you. And then, if they're happy with that, then it's, off to the races, and you can kind of get to the core work. But it allows them to kind of de-risk a little bit before committing to probably a larger investment.
That's the way that we see it as well. It's a lot more budget friendly than diving right into uh, to building, but it's a necessary step that has to happen. And clients own everything that we do for them, and so there's no obligation to work with us to build. This is, like you said, relationship building as well as value delivery. And so what we've found is that, like, I don't think anyone's ever not worked with us to actually build out the product on the other side, because we do high quality work and build great relationships, but they always have that option and they own what we have. The other thing we provide at the end of that Ideate package is a development estimate. So they could even shop around our estimate, and they know at least what it'll cost from us, and they can go get other options if they choose to do that. Another thing that we've done to allow potential clients to test the waters with us is a free
Mhm.
code audit. Sometimes folks will take us up on this, where if the code's in the right stack and all that, we can dive in and maybe focus in a problem area for them, or just get a general sense of um, their kind of code base health and provide a report to them. And we do that for free, but it's very much relationship building as well.
Is that on like an existing product usually?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we've talked a little bit about, kind of the tension of just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. Talked about how you kind of structured some of your offers. Um, I'd love to kind of hear more about how you think about kind of going to market. Like you have these things. Um, you know, I know a lot of agencies, their go-to-market strategy is, build their networks and hope for referrals. And they do kind of some stuff beyond that. But what's kind of your mix for putting your expertise out there, for people to find you and become clients?
This is an area of our business that is constantly being worked on and refined. So we have some new initiatives this year that I'm really hoping will be fruitful. Most of our work still is repeat and referral work. So we love that because it means we're doing good work if people that
Yeah.
we've worked with in the past are coming back to work with us and telling their friends and coworkers to do the same. That's a really good sign of the work we're doing, and we really view the work we're doing as like a bit of a sales tool as well, and the case studies that we're able to write behind it. But we are doing some new initiatives now. We've started in the past year doing a lot more on LinkedIn, for one, and thought leadership was something that we had kind of pushed back on initially, and not seeing as much value in that, but we see it, I guess, less less now as like an ego thing and more now of a showcase your experience and what you've done in the past and try to provide help and guidance and support and get your name out there a little bit more. So it's something we've embraced more in the past year. Um, we're in the middle of a website redesign now too that we're going to begin leaning more into other initiatives like webinars or Loom videos and stuff of that nature to be able to showcase maybe more in depth specific um, areas where we can provide value or how we go about solving certain problems. Um, and so it is always in flux. We're also trying to be as efficient as possible, leveraging AI tools and other solutions out there to try to create connections, get meetings, talk to people, see what problems are out there that we could solve.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like that's always it's a challenge for I think most any agency. So you're not alone, and I think there's you know constantly experimentation that's happening. I think the bottom line is for any agency is trust is kind of the gold standard, like whatever it takes to build trust. And a lot of times referrals and doing good work, those create great trust. And so that's where a lot of the business comes from. But if you're wanting to use other channels, it's like, how can we use these other channels to increase trust, whether it's through like thought leadership, where you're just kind of sharing expertise, um, or some of the other things you mentioned. But I think as long as you're using those channels to build trust, that's what's going to produce the best results in the end. Um, yeah,
Yeah, and I think we've tried to adopt that with things like our LinkedIn content, that it's not really salesy, but it's more just true, like this is kind of what we believe, and try to help like-minded people find us and the people that our
yeah,
message resonates with. It also seems to me, and I'm curious your take on this, that to really be great um, at some of these sales initiatives, you kind of have to be on the leading edge in the market on some of the new tools and innovations in the space. Like
mm,
for a while, cold email worked, right? And the people that were first to cold email did well with cold email, and some of the sequencing tactics and stuff like that. But that seems to have trailed off as an effective tactic. And then for a while, LinkedIn was similar with, make a connection request, send a note in LinkedIn, get a meeting, and that was a really effective solution. But that seems to also be trailing off as all these tools get abused, right? And so,
yeah,
kind of, I'm getting a bit of an impression of, whatever's working for folks, you try to jump on it sooner rather than later, before you end up adopting it when it's losing its power.
yeah. I think too. I mean, I think what you said is definitely correct. Uh, you got to kind of pay attention to where things are moving. But I also think a lot of times making sure that you're nailing the fundamentals is really important too, because I think sometimes um, people go to market thinking, well, all I need is the tactics. I don't need to know what my messaging is or who I'm trying to reach. I'm just going to kind of cold email a bunch of people and say, hey, we're a software agency, and it's like, well, you're not probably going to get the best quality leads from that. But if you're like, hey, what, we do really good work for these types of people, not only, but this is where our best clients are coming from. We're going to specifically look to like showcase our skills to other people who look like our best clients. And maybe that's how we're going to use cold email, or that's who we're going to connect with on LinkedIn when we're sharing our thought leadership. Like having a little bit more of a messaging game plan can really make a big difference. And then, I mean, kind of to your point about like cold email was working better, but then a lot of people rushed into that. I was talking someone who made a good point that um, I think the pandemic, because everyone's online, a lot more people went from using other tactics to flooding cold email. Like that was just like the only way that people could be reaching out. And I think it kind of burned a lot of people out on that channel. And I think that's one reason why I think conferences are actually making a pretty big comeback. Because going back to that trust thing, like it, when you see somebody in person, you see more body language, things like that. You can build trust more quickly, and you can tell them more about your business, and it's less like a sales conversation. It's more like what you would be doing on LinkedIn, but in person.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that prediction, and makes a lot of sense. The term that I heard recently that really resonated with me was message market fit, and I think that's something that we're really trying to hone in on, because you can only go so far with brute force saying, "Hey, we're a custom software agency. We can build anything for anyone." And there might be, if we're talking to, let's say, a prospect that's in fintech, and we're saying that message, and there's another consultancy saying, "Hey, we're a fintech product consultancy. We only build in fintech." Then even if the outcome could be that they're better off selecting us, they might select the other group. They're likely to select the other group because that messaging is resonates a lot more. We haven't we've worked across so many different industries, and we don't have customer concentration in one to make us feel confident of like that vertical approach, which has then led us to these different packages of Ideate, Ignite, and Embed, to try to really hone in and craft that message market fit. And then once you have that, then you have a lot of tools at your disposal for distributing that message. But the message itself has to be core, and that's where a lot of our focus is right now.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely a worthwhile spot to focus on. I've seen good results come of that. 100% agree. Um, One other thing I wanted to kind of dig into is um, partnerships. Have they played a role at all? Some agency I talked to, it's they've never even explored it. Other agencies, they say like 50% of um, their pipeline comes from partnerships. Not really, like not thinking in terms of like client partnerships, but more like other agencies, software partners, things like that. Has that ever been something that you've that's been a part of your sort of new business strategy?
We love partnerships, and we've built a bit of a hub and spoke model, with our internal partnerships, and it's mostly how we've done it so far, less about attracting new business and more about delivering value for clients. And so it's like um, we can have trusted partners in various areas where if a client has those needs, we can still
Mm,
be a primary point of contact for them. They don't have to manage a whole bunch of different vendors. And we know these people will do great work, and we're used to working with them. We know we fit in well, with each other's processes and how we work, and we can add in additional services. We also will do some work, like I mentioned, with that Ideate, Ignite, Embed. We don't have to do like all of it's kind of an a la carte thing, right? So there's
right.
sometimes where a client might come to us after working with a different design agency to get their designs, and then they just need us to bring that to market, right? Or there might be a need to partner with a design agency that is heavy in user research or something along those lines. And so we have a number of partnerships in play there, but we're always open to exploring partnerships and figuring out ways to create win-win situations.
Yeah, I think I think you touched on something that I think is a really good point. Is that I think the productization that you've done also can really work well with partnerships, because I think when people are exploring, how to partner with you or vice versa, the more that you can give a potential client something small and bite size to potentially invest in rather than kind of jump into the full program right off the bat. That can be at least be a good way when you're sussing out like a new partnership. Like, hey, this is a potential partner. We don't know them, but you know what? You could do this small little sort of intro project with them to see how that relationship goes. And if you're somebody who referred over to them, then it's like, okay, well, cool. If that goes well, then that's somebody that you could refer back and forth with moving
Hmm.
forward. So I think there's a good sort of I hate this word, but synergy between
Yeah.
productizing and partnerships. Like if you have good products and good sort of intro products as well, um, partnerships I think can be a little bit easier for you.
Yeah. And there's there's also there's the Venn diagram where there's not much of an intersection there where it becomes more like co-opetition than competition, so to speak,
Hmm.
where it might be there might be a marketing firm, let's say, that doesn't do product development and one of their clients needs product development. Like that can be they look really great by bringing their trusted partner in. And same on our end, if we're building out a product and they need some more marketing help, we can, bring in a trusted partner there and it makes us look great. And so everybody kind of wins in those scenarios. And even though we're, I guess, technically competing agencies, there's not a lot of overlap in the actual work that we do day in, day out. And so everyone can win in those situations.
Yeah, I think that's a huge point. Like if there's not overlap, then there's sometimes a good opportunity for collaboration. I think too, this goes back to what I was saying about conferences. Conferences can be good places to find some of those people because you do get to like, you might meet somebody who also works with the same, target audience that you do, and you can learn more about their business. You're in person already, and so um, it's a little bit easier to kind of build not just a professional relationship, but like a friendship with someone, which I think a lot of times makes partnerships work a little bit better, anyways. So
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a great point.
Well, I want to kind of turn to the future. I know you've been around. I think you've told me 9 years. Is that right?
Hmm.
So, thinking forward, like, what do you guys envision for the future? For like, do you see? Do you want to be doing it, 10 years from now, or do you think it'll look different? What's your vision for it?
Um, so in the short term version of that, I think where we're going in the future is just continuing to hone in on who we are and what we do and just really keep addressing that, and what that is likely to change over time. um,
Mhm.
the technologies that we work with are changing a lot and some are coming into fashion or out of fashion, and so there could be some, you know, tech stack changes. There could be, we decide that certain packages are selling better than other packages and focusing in certain areas, or we hear about new problems folks are having and how do we address that. We have like a lot of projects right now that are doing more with AI integration and AI implementation. And so that's actually becoming another package that we're bringing to market for, Gnar Integrate, where you can have all these different AI integrations, and chatbot implementations and stuff of that nature. So I can see that expanding as there's more and more focus in AI, and just becoming also as efficient as possible and realizing that the tools that are available, um, in the marketplace are available to us to be able to like drive efficiencies in our business, and become more effective individually, whether that's using things like, a copilot or some of the code assistants,
Mhm.
within AI, or software like Clay for, um, to integrate into our sales process. But there's a lot of innovation happening, and I think it's on us to stay on top of it and pick and choose where to invest. But I think the medium term is going to change things pretty substantially with AI, and just having to really invest in learning and staying on top of things and meeting the market where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like everyone I talk to, that's the elephant in the room that, it's like, oh, how is AI going to change our work? Is it, I mean, in a lot of instances, the feedback I'm getting is that it's just making our teams more efficient. And so it's like, well, now we have more capacity. So now it's like, well, how do we get more people in the door so that we can do more with fewer people? So, I mean, I'm sure some people are going to think of it as like, oh, well, now we can downsize. But I see it as more of an opportunity to, kind of streamline it and add more efficiencies that can really enable you to grow and do more faster for clients.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And in our case too, we want to get really great at delivering those sorts of solutions for clients, right? Because there's the out of the box, you're bringing on an AI SaaS platform, but then there's, okay, my product does this, and I want to bring in AI so the product itself is more efficient. And
Yeah.
we're in a position to be able to help those folks. So crafting that story and the message market fit around those initiatives is going to be an area of focus as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun time to be in this business. So, well, Mike, it's been super fun having you on here and talking more about kind of the evolution of your agency and kind of how you're approaching different sort of challenges in the market. For folks that have tuned in and are wanting to get to know you better, learn more about the Gnar, that sort of thing, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Best place to connect would be on LinkedIn, and just to learn more about what I believe in is probably the LinkedIn's the best source for all that, and the gnar.com is another great place they can find us.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. I appreciated you just sharing more about your business. And yeah, I'm looking forward to staying in touch.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.